Good evening, Dice Roll fans, and welcome back to Self-Diceolation, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign set in the world of Eberron. My name is Tom, and I will be your Dungeon Master for this evening. Joining me tonight, thank you. Joining me tonight are some of our returning group of regular adventurers, ready for some serious dice-based downtime. First of all, we have our getaway gangster, Mr. James Oakley.
Hello, I am Oakley, and I am playing Kallus Lanick, the human wizard.
Our holiday hoodlum, Mr. Richard Badger.
Hello, I'm Badger. I'll be playing Mick Dagger, the swift-styled rogue.
And our vacation vandal, Mr. James Harper.
Hello, I am James Bulgarian Harper, and I will be playing the role of Mike Your Bedrock, the Warforged Storm Surge Sorcerer.
And joining us slightly later on will be our mini-break menace, Mr. James Lacey. He will be playing Daisy Druke, the Hobgoblin Wizard. Before we start tonight, I have some exciting news for you all.
Ooh, do tell.
This week, we have our very first sponsored episode. Mr. Harper, would you take it away, please?
Wonderful. And this episode is brought to you by the Bountiful Vine. Do you have a promotion that needs celebrating? Perhaps a broken heart to lament? Or could you be trying to numb and halt the spiraling existential dread that invades every single moment you're conscious? Well, we have the answers here at the Bountiful Vine. Alcohol, and enough of it, if you pay enough. The Bountiful Vine has seats, refreshment, dark brooding spaces. Everything you need to kick back and drown your troubles in vices. So visit the Bountiful Vine today, please? Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ah, damn, the thing filters out my clapping.
I do.
That was clapping.
We do promise not to rob you on your first visit.
I make no promises.
we make no promises. They're just sponsoring us.
There are no promises.
Last time.
Did I even prepare my spells?
Probably should. We've got. I'll do a recap. You've got a few moments.
Awesome.
So last time you were summoned to the City of the Dead, where you discovered the badly beaten corpse of Kallus laid upon a slab. Amongst his personal possessions was a damaged metal cube-shaped frame, which transported you back in time a few days to a meeting inside Morgrave University with Alira Boromar and her advisor, the gnome wizard Castar. Castar sent you off to recover the final missing part from his experiment involving the infernal combustion engine from Laughingsteel's Emporium. On arriving at the artificer's workshop, you were given a familiar-looking metal cube frame with a purple glowing core, which Mykior attempted to stash within their chest cavity, triggering a massive explosion.
I did
God,
do
I
that,
forgot.
yes, and I did blow up extensively.
Killed us all.
Following a brief trip to the afterlife, you found yourselves back in Castar's office, repeating their briefing. Another trip to Laughingsteel's Emporium ended with a bomb being thrown through the shop window, sending you back through the time loop once again. On your final go-around, you were fully prepared, having Geoffrey Laughingsteel transport the cube, whilst you posted watch for the owners of the soon-to-be-thrown incendiary device. As the bomb crashed through the window, Heiman Phoenix, your wood elf monk, used their lightning-fast reflexes to return the explosive back to its sender, immolating them where they stood, and triggering a brief and brutal battle between the party and the remaining two mysterious assassins. Cube secured, you returned to Castar and presented the all-too-grateful gnome with the missing piece to a puzzle you had no idea of. A few days later, the answer was revealed to be a now fully self-powered upgrade to your pimped-out carriage from Alira's birthday, along with the promise from Dion of a some-expenses-paid holiday in your new wheels. So, tonight's adventure picks up on the day you leave Sharn. The tricked-out carriage sits proudly outside the Bountiful Vine, our sponsors for this evening. A bright pink stagecoach, underlit with a shimmering rainbow light and rolling mist, and featuring some mechanical spinning rims. At the front, a covered driver's cab sits above a large barrel-like construction of wood and brass with a thick ridged wheel on either side. Various flexible pipes, tubes, and connecting harnesses join the infernal combustion engine to the carriage. A faint fiery red glow can be seen from various runes and seams along the panelling of the engine. Two large steel pipes rise from the rear of the carriage with steady wisps of black smoke rising from them. As your dwarf custodian and odd job dwarf, Clod, climbs into the driver's seat, long, weathered stagecoach's like trench coat affair going on. He's got some goggles, got a little flat cap, stashing what looks to be a fairly hefty blunderbuss into a storage compartment just up behind the seat. They give the engine some experimental revs, and the smoke bellowing out of the exhaust comes out in thicker gouts as the engine roars in response. As you load up into the carriage, Dion stands at the door of the tavern to wave you off, whilst ushering in a group of very attractive and uniformed bar staff to run the Bountiful Vine in your absence.
Our sponsors for tonight.
So, to give you a bit more of an idea of your new wheels, the inside of the carriage is slightly larger than the external dimensions. Castar has explained that this was a result of the dimensional spacer, which was the cube you'd collected from Laughingstill's Emporium. Towards the front of the carriage interior, the three walls are occupied by comfortable seating with a low table in the centre. The front-facing wall features an open trapdoor through which the driver's cab can be accessed. The midsection of the carriage features a simple cooking and alchemy space with storage for various reagents, tools and books. A disco ball hangs down in front of a centre-positioned sunroof which opens onto the roof of the carriage. At the back of the carriage are sleeping quarters, triple-stacked bunk beds bookended by full-height wardrobes and storage chests, each featuring a rotary handle below a small panel displaying an image of each of you. Castar has informed you that the spaces work by turning the dial to show your image and then pulling on the handle to open it to your contents. The back wall features a modest latrine and compact washroom, complete with a range of Dion's favourite soaps and some very luxurious towels. An iron-bound laundry basket is also found here, which Castar has explained can clean any item placed into it before being deposited back into the owner's storage space. There is also a brass lever labelled Hot Tub, which they've advised that you don't pull on whilst the carriage is moving.
Oh.
Can we stream from the hot tub?
I mean, if you move around too much, water will stream over the sides, yes.
Yes. Okay. Duly noted.
Hot tub stream.
No hot tub streaming, like, you know, it's an enchanted carriage, but it's not overtly waterproof on the flooring. After a while, it's going to do some damage.
Worth it. We'll be rich. We'll have enough money to replace it.
So, Dion, who is the Boromar lieutenant that you've been working for, has explained that your first stop on this some expenses paid holiday is the port city of Thurimbar in the Zilargo region. Now, Zilargo is known as the home region of gnomes within Eberron. This port city is famous for drawing musicians and artists from across the entire continent, seeking to peddle their trade or gain experience. In addition to its legendary clubs and schools of music, Thurimbar is also on the cutting edge of arcane sound, the use of illusion magic to generate music. Entertainers flock to Thurimbar to share their music and immerse themselves in its rich musical culture. So, before you head off, is there any final business that you would like to take care of in the city? You should all have taken the effect of a long rest, prepped any spells you want for the days ahead. You are aware that the journey to Thurimbar is going to take about 4 days.
I think I'm good. I think I just read more on how to be a human as the trip wears on.
Fair enough.
At
Mick?
some point, I would like. Sorry.
Mick, anything from yourself?
I'm just checking something. 1 second.
Fair enough. We'll come back to you in a second then. So, Kallus?
At some point, I would like to try and shop for some spells that I can potentially write into my book, but I don't know if I have the money for it at the moment.
Okay. If you had anything particular in mind that you would rather not disclose, you can privately message me that.
Okay. I will
but if
do
you're
so.
happy to disclose with the group, that is also fine.
I will message you because it will take up less of the time here than go through
Fair
it.
enough.
Well, unless Mick is doing something for a moment, in which case.
I was just going to say on this 4-day journey, I would like to craft some health potions and poison. So I suppose
Lord.
it depends on what ingredients you believe any of these needs. Base common poison, according to this tab thing I've got from I can't remember whose campaign they sent me this from. Basic poison needs nothing. Potions of healing require red something mushrooms.
Okay.
But that depends if you're using this thing, which I can link to you. Like,
That's fine. So, like I say, it's going to be a 4-day journey, and you will be passing through a couple of towns on the way. There's a bit of part of the leg of it involves going through the Shimmerwood Forest, and you're going to be travelling for maybe about half the day, and then you're going to need to stop and camp up for the evening, because as good as Clod is, he can't do a 24-hour driving stint 4 days straight. It will kill him. So there will be...
Why he's out of the mines now?
well,
Yeah,
I do
so
have a
there's gonna be-
herbalism kit, so I can go and harvest stuff if it's available.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll let's have a quick look then. So the first day of travel, we'll come back to what you're doing in between bits and pieces. So on the first day of travel, you leave Sharn, you make your way east, camping overnight at the town of Zilspar. Mick, can you just make me a we'll call this a charisma persuasion check, please? This is just to sort of determine if you're going around the town, how easily you've been able to get hold of the bits and pieces that you need.
It's a 15.
15. Okay, so we'll say for the cost of what's it going to be? We'll say for the cost of 1 gold and 6 silver pieces, you've managed to gather together all the reagents you need to craft your poison and your healing potions. I'd say you can craft 1 item per day, and it can be any combination you want. So a poison, 2 healing potions, 3 healing potions, 3 poisons, however you want to do that. The remaining 3 days you can spend crafting up 3 of the items that you want.
Just ask the question quickly. Is there still just a general charge for building healing potions and stuff like there was before?
For simplicity's sake, we'll just say that you've bought the materials that you need. It's included in that 1 gold and 6. We can always codify it later on. Kallus, can you make me an Arcana check, please?
Yes, when I put my dice properly.
This is going to represent you between leaving the city and getting to
15.
Okay, so this represents sort of you using your inherent arcane knowledge to try and find someone that would be able to at least teach you or provide you with the materials for the spells you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'd say 15. That's pretty good. Let's say. Okay. You find along the way you managed to find an arcanist who is willing to sell you a spell scroll with the item you're after. They're asking 120 gold for it.
I'll take it.
Cool. Okay.
120.
Yep.
Okay, I'll remove that.
Okay, bye.
In that case, I will spend the rest of the trip writing that into the spellbook and then copying it to backup spellbook.
That's fine.
Which I think takes absolutely ages. So
it can I can't remember exactly. Wizards, how you spell.
It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours per spell level, I think so.
Yeah, I would say that so actually, the work of copying it into your spell book.
It takes another amount of money, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the work of copying it into your spell book can be done from the back of from within the carriage. That's not a problem. But it basically represents you're essentially having to sit down and practice this spell over and over, and then learn it into your spell book. So for each level of that spell that you're learning, the process takes 2 hours and costs you 50 gold.
Okay.
And that represents the material components you spend experimenting with the spell to try and master it.
Yep. I'll be buying no more Sky Coaches.
That's fine.
That's
You're
fine.
all
I've
out.
deducted
Well, not with that
money.
attitude, honestly.
Okay. As you camp up outside of Zilspar, the conversation amongst the occupants has turned to a suitable name for your vehicle. It's fine rolling around calling it the carriage, but you feel like you feel like it should have a name, and there's various suggestions have been made.
Built just a little bit differently, this wagon.
Yeah.
No.
Mick has suggested the Slagon wagon. Picking on its colour, Kallus has come up with Ford Fuchsia. Mike, because you figured, well, this is a wagon that carries folks around, why don't we call it the Folks Wagon?
Yep.
But eventually, through democratic process represented in the real world by a survey that you all participated in, thank you very much, Claude stands there ready with
sponsored by Bountiful Vine.
Claude stands there ready with his little pot of gold paint and a little paintbrush, and very carefully starts to paint onto the side of the carriage in some very, very fine, very clear lettering the name Smash and Grab, which was the winner of the survey with over half of the votes.
So glad it wasn't for us.
For anyone else who wanted to know, the other suggestions were Wagon Wheels, Prolapsed Anus, and the Pink Panther. I'm kind of glad this worked out as it did.
It's like Boaty McBoatface all over again, isn't it?
I still like the Volkswagen or the Ford Fuchsia. Would have been funny.
So days 2 and 3, you move on from Zilspar along the coastal road beside Redcliffe Bay, and you make your way through the Shimmerwood Forest. It's another day and night of travelling, pitching up and camping. Those of you who are doing crafty bits and pieces can carry on doing crafty bits and pieces for another 2 days.
Yay.
And on the 4th day of travel, you round out past the northern boundary of the Shimmerwood Forest. As the day draws on, you pass through the town of Tarandro, with Thurimbar now only a few hours away. And whilst all of you are relaxing in the comfortable confines of the Smash and Grab, you hear a series of thumps from the back of the carriage.
Okay.
Is the carriage okay? Because I heard something that usually means it's not okay. Because if I thumped like that, I would not be okay.
Go take a look. Or head towards the sound. I can't imagine it's too far away.
So the carriage is you're on the road, you're moving. The carriage is rolling along. And after a few more moments, you just hear thump, 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 thump from the back of the carriage.
That sounds like arrow fire.
That is a good point. Can we see anything?
So the only
There's
visibility you've got out of the carriage, next to the door are a couple of windows set in. You've got the opening hatch to the driver's cab at the front, which is large enough for any of you to climb through into the driver's cab. And there is the
I know what it is.
sunroof behind the disco ball.
I know what it is. It's miner's robot code. That either means... Wait, it's been a while. It's either help, I'm caught in a
landslide.
rock, or can you pass me the spanner? And I can't remember which is which.
Yes. Anyway.
Shall we see if there's a rock?
So the options you've got for, like I say, for visibility, you've got on the side of the carriage where the door is, sunroof, and driver's cab.
Why did no one install a periscope on this thing?
The sunroof is accessible.
I
was going to say you can climb up onto the countertops in the little kitchen area and hoist yourself.
I'm gonna try and hold something like solid up out of the sunroof in case it is arrow fire. Like whatever's to hand that's large enough for me to hold up that someone might shoot at.
Yeah, there's a broom in there.
That'll do. Poke that out sunroof.
Okay. As you do, you just see an arrow whistle past over the top of the sunroof.
Okay, I think we're under attack.
Or they are trying to remove the rock with arrows. I'm not sure.
Yes. Either way, this is not a good thing. I take it Claude hasn't seen any of this. He's just carrying on.
At this point, Claude has slid the hatch open from the driver's cab, leaned down and has gone, trouble! And you hear him revving the engine slightly more aggressively. And you feel a slight
Anyone speak
lurch as the...
I do. I speak Dwarvish.
Yeah, but no one speaks Claude.
Well, no, it's a thick accent, but I got that there's trouble.
I just thought he was annoyed that Kallus nearly got his broom shot.
I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna have a look out the sunroof.
Yeah, I was gonna do this.
Okay. So as you make your way off of one of the cabinets and sort of warily poke your head up above the sunroof, you can see riding along on the road behind you are 5 very large wolves, each one carrying a hobgoblin rider. They're riding in a line, spanning across the road. The centre rider is pointing at the carriage with a sword in one hand, reins in the other, whilst the riders on either side have sort of got the reins for their wolves in their mouths and are taking aim at the carriage with longbows. Another volley of arrows just get loosed, 3 of them sticking into the back of the carriage and one of them just whistling over your head.
Oh, this isn't fun. Kallus, do you know any fire spells?
I have a couple.
Because I have this handy-dandy flask of oil, you see.
Put some rope in the top, or a fuse of some description. We'll deal with this.
I was thinking if I just hang out the side of the carriage and pour the oil out onto the side of the road, all behind us, and then you throw a fire on it.
Sure, I can do that. I have firebolt.
Excellent.
Watch me whiff this.
Okay.
So we'll go with the plan of I sort of pour oil on through the sort of door on the floor or wherever they are out the side, and then Kallus can try and set it on fire.
So how do you want to do this? You can either go out through the sunroof or you can lean out through the door. That would give you visibility.
I'll lean out through the door.
Then I will go out through the sunroof, ready to shoot at whatever it is that he's dropping.
And I will give a witty line as we vanquish our enemies.
Okay. So, As this is technically combat, I am going to need to ask all of you to roll initiative, please.
Oh God, what if I'm first and I have to do the witty line?
Well,
Before this happened.
Oh no, I regret everything. Please
13.
below, please below. Yes. Are you ready?
Is that a 1? Did I just see a 1 pop up?
Yes. Yes, you did. I nat one my initiative
Nice.
roll.
Well done.
okay, so we've run down the order.
That is a
as I've got them
solid
here.
effort.
Can I take your values, please? Starting with Kallus.
13.
13. Mike? Mike, you're sorry?
17.
1.
17 for Mick, and 1 for Mike. It's a good job you last did
Excellent.
the witty line there.
Yes, yes. This will be very witty. Don't worry.
Oh God.
Okay, so first up we've got Kallus. Sorry, Mick, followed by Kallus. You're on deck, and Mike, you're with that particular role. You are last in the line. So, Mick, as you lean out of the carriage door, there is a sudden burst of light as a flock of enchanted doves just released from the door and fly away, disappear into the ether.
Oh, I forgot we had that.
So from where you are, leaning
Oh,
out the side,
God.
leaning out the side of the carriage, you can see as the as you're sort of looking back. How can I put this? You are leaning out the left-hand side of the carriage, looking backwards. That's where the door's positioned. So you can see from there 3 of the riders. 2 with bows on the left and the one with the sword in the centre.
Okay.
And you wanted to huck the flask of oil. Where are you aiming it?
Well, I was going to sort of open the flask of oil and sort of drizzle it so it sprays behind us at them.
Oh Lord.
So basically, it's just a spray of oil at them, basically. And then Kallus can just throw a fireball and hopefully it'll set someone on fire or all of them. I don't know.
Okay. I'd say let's call this a...
Kind of like an oil trail on the floor that they're going to have to run through if they want to chase us, sort of thing.
I will say this is the thing. The ground that you're going over is relatively earthen, and there's not
It's
a
not
lot.
going to set fire.
The flask only holds about a pint of oil. So if you were to drizzle it behind you, chances are the carriage would have rolled on well past the trail before it actually basically they will have run past where the oil drizzle if it goes onto the ground. If you were to throw it, then it is entirely possible it could shatter and cover at least one of them.
Fine, I'll chuck it at the first one, the closest, which I'm guessing is the sword dude.
Sword dude is in the centre, and you've got, from where you can see, 2...
I'll throw it at the
bows
centre
to
one because it
the
might
left.
scare or distract the 2 bow people.
Fair enough. If you can go ahead and make me a ranged attack, please.
Do I get the usual plus that I would if I used a bow? Or...
Do you have any sort of proficiency with thrown weapons? Or anything like that?
Crossbow. It says hand. Long sword, rapier, short sword, simple weapons.
Hands is a simple weapon.
I'd say,
I
yeah.
mean, it doesn't, but
No, I'd say, yeah,
simple.
throw your proficiency on there. Why not? It's a simple enough weapon.
Oh,
Because
good, because I
oil.
just got a nat 20.
Nice.
Nice. Okay.
I'm
Fuck
gonna miss
you!
this now.
Yeah, I'd say with that you see it. So as you hurl this oil flask, you see it shatter, and it catches the centre Hobgoblin's armour, such that it actually sprays and manages to splash them and the 2 either side of them.
All right.
So they are now
Kallus is up to you
covered
now.
in oil.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going sunroof or door, but
I'm already at the sunroof.
Alright.
Or I will be if I'm not already.
Okay. Mick, anything else on your turn?
Nope, that would be my turn.
Fantastic.
Other than obviously retreating back into the door.
Kallus, you're up. So from where
Um,
you are on top of the carriage, you can see the full 5 of them lined up. You've
Yeah.
just seen this oil flask shatter on the centre one and splash off to the ones on the side.
so Scorching Ray, I think. 1 at the oil flask and 2 at whichever ones are closest to said oil flask, just people-wise, I mean.
Oh, I just removed all of them, not one of them. God damn it.
Go ahead and so make me a ranged spell. Is it ranged spell attack on that?
Yes, it
Cool.
is. Okay, so first one is a 26.
Yep. So is that the one in the centre?
Yes.
Yep, that definitely hits.
And then the second one is a... what the hell is that? 14. And then the third one's a 9.
Okay. Definitely gets the one in the centre. The other 2 just goes a little bit wide. You're not quite used to casting from the top of a carriage yet.
Yep. So, sorry, 2 go wide.
So 2 go wide, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
first one-
okay, so I hit the
First one
flask.
definitely hits.
I have no damage because it's aiming at a flask.
You're aiming at the guy because I hit
Well,
the
you're
guy
aiming.
with oil.
You'd be aiming at the goblin, the
beg
hobgoblin rider,
then
who
that
is
one,
currently coated in oil.
which is 3, so 7 total,
7
on him.
damage. Excellent.
and whatever
And
it
they
is
also
that
take-
oil does.
Yep. So as it does, you hit the one. So 1 square in the chest takes what was it? 7? You say 7 damage?
7 fire damage. Yes.
Sorry. Okay. So they take
Mark the spell.
hit from fire, and it ignites the oil, and you can see it's now burning them quite badly. So the oil has completely gone up on them. In addition, some of the sparks actually flicker off of them and catch the 2 either side, and they are now on fire. So the one in the centre is on fire, and the one either side are both on fire.
No way.
Ah,
Nice.
this is where you miss the fabled Natasha. Fuego!
Yeah.
Let's make notes. There we go. Where are we? Yeah. It is actually, I think, enough. Yep. The hobgoblin in the centre is completely consumed by fire. And they
Nice.
fall off backwards. Their wolf has taken some of the flames and has just gone wild off into the tree line nearby. Anything else from yourself?
I'm going to duck my head back down inside the carriage,
Okay,
if I can.
no worries. So next up, it is the Outriders, and they have got 4 of them are alive, 2 are injured, and there are now 4 Wolf Riders coming at you. So the 2 on the left-hand side, Mick, are going to try and take a shot at you, and they are. What's your armor class, please?
14.
14. Now that would go up to 16 because you at least have half cover from the carriage. So it's 2 of those against 16. Okay. Okay, they actually rolled really well. Both of them managed to get lucky shots at you. You take 10 damage.
Son of a bitch!
You bastards.
All I did was set him on fire.
I mean, I think they took it personally.
I think I did.
All right, Michael Jordan.
Okay, so And okay. And that's going to be it for their turn. Mike, you're
So there's
You're
still
up,
a
Mick, you're
few
on deck.
chasing us.
So, from inside of the carriage,
So I'm very annoyed that there's still some chasing us because that ruins my very funny joke.
okay,
So I get up out of the sunroof and I look at them with disdain. And I'm like, oh, you ruined the perfect joke.
okay.
And then
So as you come up through the sunroof, you can see that there is one directly behind the carriage. You've got two wolf riders, one slightly ablaze. You can then see on the right there are another two wolf riders, again, one slightly ablaze, that start to move up to the right-hand side of the carriage.
okay, hold on.
So the two on the left are still behind the carriage, the two on the right are moving up to the right-hand side of the carriage.
Yeah, So what I will do then is I will cast Thunder Wave, which is a 15-foot cube, and I'm going to put it like literally at the back of the carriage, and I'm going to cast it in the sense that my eyes start glowing yellow, and I'm very annoyed and irritated at these miscreants who decided to ruin my fun and ruin my good joke, and then I clap my hands together and it causes this thunder wave to exude out from the back of the smash and grab.
Okay, no worries. So that's the two currently off the back of the smash and grab. Going to have to take a con save, isn't it?
And what about the ones to the right of it? Would I have caught them in a 15-foot cube? I don't know.
Carriages.
Yeah. So, rules as written is a 15-foot cube originating from you, and I get that you're intending to sort of cast it away from you. So
yeah,
you can
that's
hit
true.
one of the. You tweak the rules. I'll allow it, but you can hit one pair of your choice, either the ones at the back or the ones at the side.
I'd hit the ones immediately behind us.
That's absolutely fine. So they both have to make con saves. Oh, I can use my new dice. Thank you to Shawbaw for my new dice, by the way.
Shout out to Shawbaw.
Shout out to Shawbaw. One of them fails. One of them fails because it rolled a 1. And what was the con save we're up against?
14.
Okay. Yeah. The one that's not on fire definitely passed. The one that's on fire's got other things on their mind, so they failed.
Okay. So not only okay, so I'll roll for damage.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I dealt 7 damage to the one who rolled a 1, and also they are launched back 10 feet.
Okay.
And then the other one takes half damage and isn't pushed back.
So it's 7. What does he say? 7 damage total.
Yeah, 7 damage total. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they take 7 damage. I forgot they're on wolves as well.
Oh. I mean, this emits a thunderous boom that's audible out to 300 feet.
Yeah, the wolves both passed.
Bollocks.
Yeah, so the one that's on fire is not only knocked back 10 feet, but also off the wolf, and you see that they're not moving so much in the road now. And
well, I would say my joke, but it's not very funny right now. And I skulk back into the carriage, and that's it. That's my turn.
And the one on the other side takes half damage but doesn't get pushed. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So situation as you've seen it is the threat now consists of 1 wolf rider coming up on the left-hand side of the cab, and 2 wolf riders, one of whom is slightly on fire, coming up on the right-hand side of the cab. Anything else from yourself?
Nope. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. No worries. So Mick, you're up again. Kallus, you're on deck.
I lean back out of the left-hand side of the door and take a shot at the one coming up the left.
Go for it. What
With
are
my
you
bow.
with your bow?
With my short bow, yes.
Cool. I'd say, given your propensity for general acrobatics, you're able to sort of secure a leg around the door frame and just very showy lean out
Nice.
Right, okay, right.
and
Let
take
me,
a shot with this.
let's see if I hit them. That's 21 to hit.
Yes, that definitely hits.
Let's see what damage we do. That's the wrong dice.
So as you lean out, you're sort of starting to compensate for the bounce and wobble of the carriage as you level your shot and then just let it go.
That's
And
7 damage.
it just flies completely true on target. And you catch them directly between like a space on their armor. You can see as you've sort of leveled the shot, they're wearing like sort of just like a couple of pauldrons and chainmail on there, and it just straight in through a weak spot on the armor there, and they
Yes,
are.
it's not very nice, is it?
Yeah, they're not looking too happy about that. Anything else from yourself?
I will obviously push myself back into the carriage so I'm not hanging out so much.
Absolutely fine. Yep. So you are now back within the cover of the carriage. Okay. Kallus, you're up.
Okay. I will pop my head back up out sunroof. Take a quick glance around and fire at whichever one. Firebolt at whichever one's closest.
So as you get up through the sunroof, you can see that Mycure is standing directly in front of the sunroof towards the back of the carriage, looking very proud of themselves. From there, you can see the one rider on the left-hand side with an arrow sticking out of them, and you can see the other two riders that are sort of coming up on the right-hand side of the carriage.
I'll go for the left one with the arrow.
Okay, cool.
That is. Oh.
What are we doing to
that,
sorry?
That is firebolt, and that is a 10 to hit.
Yeah.
Which is trash.
We all know when they get to the front, they've got to deal with Claude with his blunderbuss. So.
Oh god, yeah.
Unfortunately, the firebolt goes a little bit wide again. Still not quite getting the hang of this mounted combat thing.
Bollocks!
And you just sort of puff. You can see the dirt just next to the rider as the wolf passes over, just gets blasted up with the force of the firebolt hitting it. Anything else?
Drop my head back down.
Okay.
That's it.
Absolutely fine. So, it is now the rider's turn. So the two that are coming up the side, one of whom is slightly on fire, is going to try and leap up onto the carriage to deal with Mycure. So this is going to be, so it's an athletics check. And they manage it, so they've grabbed onto the side of the carriage. Mycure, you see this hobgoblin sort of get up onto the stand up on the saddle on their wolf and just leap over, and now they're gripped onto the side of the carriage to your right.
Right.
The other one is going to head forward and draw level with the driver's cab and stash their bow and make a slash at Claude with their longsword.
What the
Not Claude!
Which hits.
What? Claude?
Yeah, they slash at Claude, and oh, actually no, sorry, I forgot to account for the fact that he is in a covered cab, so he would still take damage from that. So yeah, you see the as you turn to see this. So Mycure, as you turn to see this one hobgoblin hang off the side, you see the other one just lash out with a long sword, and you just hear Claude going. Barrr!
Oh shit.
The one at the back is going to the other one. Let's see. Yeah, and then you see the one on the left is sort of just snaps the arrow off, throws it to the floor, and then G's the wolf up and draws level with the right-hand side of the coach. They can now see into the door that Mick has opened.
Left side of the couch, but yeah.
Left side, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Right-hand side from their perspective, left-hand side from your perspective. Oh, chase sequences, man. And with that, we come to Mike's turn. Mick, you're on deck.
My eyes turn. I start humming with this blue-white light, and the people inside the carriage can see the metal like start freezing up and turning into ice. And out of my eyes shoots a twinned ray of frost. But can I shoot? Wait, can I do that? Let me check that quick.
What do you think you're trying? Talk me through your process here.
I want a ray of frost, both of them. The one that's right next to me, and the other one that's near Claude.
Okay, yep, that's fine. So with your, it's the sorcery.
With my meta magic, it's 1 sorcery point because it's a cantrip.
Yep.
So I spend that, and I cast ray of frost from my eyes.
That's fine. Yep. Okay, so rolling to hit with Ray of Frost against the one that's hanging off the
24 to hit.
Of that. I was going to say that would be with advantage, but yep, 24 definitely hits because they are literally just hanging there at your feet.
Dirty 24. Dirty 24.
That's absolutely fine. Roll some damage.
I'll roll for damage. Ciao. Okay, that's an 8.
Yeah, so you can see that the frost like covers the entirety of their arm, and you can see the freezer burn starting to kick in along the entirety of the limb, spreading up onto the shoulder. And then you're twinning over to the one that's on that's trying to attack Claude.
Yeah, so I go. Psst. You hear like this high pitched whine, and
Cool.
that is 14 to hit.
14. Unfortunately, that misses.
Okay.
So second one doesn't quite find its mark. The act of having to try and move and steady yourself on top of the stagecoach is just a little bit more than you're anticipating. It just goes a little bit wide on that one. Anything else from yourself?
Just seething, and you guys are ruining my jokes.
Okay. So, Mick, you're up. Kallus, you're on deck.
So this one is now level with me, looking through the door.
They are looking in through the door at you at this point. They're like right next to the coach. They're basically within stabbing distance, if you want.
No. I'm just going to wave at them and then pull out my short bow and shoot at them again.
Cool.
Hello! And then fire them up. Take a shot with the bow.
Go for it.
Which is, that's 23 to hit.
23 hits. Roll some damage.
That one. So that's 7 again.
Excellent. So yeah, with that, you just, as they draw level with the door, they're just faced with this angry shifter holding a bow at them, just like, hi! Poomph! Completely unseats them. You see the body fall down to the side of the road, and the wolf just starts to fall back behind. Anything else from yourself?
Do you know what? I never actually know what my bonus actions are. No, I just will shut the door on the carriage if I can.
That's fine. Yep.
So we can't get anything out of that side anyway.
That's fine. So down to that. Okay, Kallus, you're up. Mike, you're on deck.
I
So
I'm
from
just
where
gonna
you are,
fire.
I was going to say, from where you are, you've just seen Mick pull off this hilariously lethal surprise attack on a wolf rider coming up to the side of the carriage.
And that wolf rider's dead. Is it?
Yeah, you saw and
Yeah.
heard the fall from grace, or fall
Just
from
heard
wolf.
me go, hello!
Yes.
I
Yep.
will do just rank 1 magic missile on all of them, all 3 at whomever is left.
So,
The closest one again.
okay. So, because you ducked back inside the carriage, you have to come back up onto
Sorry, yes, yeah.
the roof.
Yep.
As you get up there, you are presented with the part on fire, part flash frozen hobgoblin hanging off the side.
He's having a really bad day.
And you can see another one towards the front of the carriage that's drawing back a long sword with a thin streak of blood along the blade.
I'll do the sort of frozen one, sort of, then just sort of throw it in their face.
Okay, go
so
for it.
I'm
So,
it just automatically hits and it just rolls.
Yeah, sorry,
damage.
which spell are you using?
Sorry, magic missile.
Magic missile.
one.
That's absolutely fine. I was going to say because they are effectively like unable to aid their own position, any attacks against them would have advantage.
Nice. That's and then that's so that's 5, 6, 8 damage total.
Okay, so it's all 3 darts.
Yep.
Towards this one dude. That's absolutely
Yep.
fine. Was that 8 damage total?
Yes, force, I think.
That's fine. As you release the first dart, it blasts the on fire hand, and they let go. The second one catches them just in the sort of clavicle, and they turn to snarl at you. And then the third and final bolt hits them directly on their frozen shoulder joint, and the body just falls away, and you all feel a slight thump as the back wheel of the carriage goes over their body, leaving just this frozen hobgoblin arm hanging off the side of the carriage.
And I proceed to start laughing. It's funny. It's funny because it made us bump. It's like a ride.
Okay. Anything else from yourself?
Duck my head back in again.
That's fine. So you hop back down inside the
Like
carriage.
pop-up pirate.
It's barrels of arcane bolts.
Brought to you by
Okay.
Bountiful Vine.
So we come to the last remaining rider, who has heard the commotion and, drawing back their sword, has quickly looked around and realised that they are now the last one standing. They
Make him alive.
G up their wolf and start riding off into the forest to the side. As they do, you hear a loud crack, this thunderous boom, and Michael, you can just see the barrel of a blunderbuss sticking out the left-hand side of the driver's cab. There is a spray of buckshot that you see just disturbing the plant life, but nothing finds its mark as the remaining rider disappears off into the undergrowth. And we are now out of combat.
I shout something to Claude in Dwarvish.
Claude just sort of... You hear him shout back up towards it, because he's having to sort of still steer and drive the carriage whilst clearly dealing with an injury. There's a... Bastard cut my arm! Missed!
Miast. I mean, what?
Okay. So with that then, so we are out of combat now. The carriage continues rolling on down the road towards Thurimbar. And it's now getting towards late afternoon when you arrive at the port town. As you disembark from the carriage, you can see that the back of it is just peppered with, half a dozen arrows or so. You can see Claude has already sort of effected like a sort of rough bandage around his arm, and he starts looking over the damage so far. Just pulls off the frozen arm and throws it across to the side, and gets to work removing the arrows and repairing any sort of cosmetic damage to the back of the smash and grab. So, you have arrived at your intended holiday destination of Thurimbar. The town is yours. What would you like to do?
A drink.
I'd kind of like to look for... We can go for a drink. Perhaps. Perhaps I can try and find some sort of like fancy arcane focus or a necklace or something.
Yeah. You would know that the Thurimbar, the Zalago region in general is famous for gem cutting. So if you're after any kind of jewellery or stonework, that is certainly something that you're likely to find here. They're also famous for enchanting. I say Thurimbar itself particularly focuses on using that in a sort of performative and entertaining capacity, with the use of illusion magic for making music. As you are sort of weighing up your options, there is just a little voice from behind you just going, "Oh, wow, that's really cool. How's it running?" And as you turn around, you see sort of looking over and just having a bit of a nose around the infernal combustion engine on the front of the smash and grab is a gnome with curly red hair, little goatee, very deep green forest waistcoat over a grey shirt and some dark trousers, and they are really having a good old look at the engine.
I'll just walk up to them.
It doesn't run. It rotates.
Oh, but like, what's it powered by? I mean, how's it? Is the whole thing enchanted, or is it just? How does it work?
Do I know the answer to any of this? Because if so, I'm going to talk his ear off about it.
I'd say given your history working with House Cannith, you would be at least familiar with the basics of how this thing works. They introduce themselves as you sort of offer up more information. They go, "Oh, terribly sorry. My name's Alston Garrick. I'm an artificer in the town here. I've got a particular interest in mechanized constructs. I used to be in the employ of House Cannith."
Ah, excellent. As did I. Where were you based?
Really? Oh, I was based in I've always just had a small research centre here. I'll be honest, I did quite a lot of my studying with the university, mainly on sort of post-war functions and uses for Warforged.
Excellent. I studied in Shan with Notad. I don't know where he is right now, but I'll quite happily talk this over with you. Should we grab a drink?
To be honest, is it all right if I just take some notes? Obviously, I won't touch anything you don't want me to, but I'd really like to just pull up some drawings, see if I can adapt anything from this to my own work. If that's all right with you. I won't take up
Fine
any
by
more of
me.
your time if you're busy. If with your permission, I can see that your mechanic here has already started to make some repair work. I can speak with them if that's
Sure.
more convenient for you.
You can
Fantastic.
try and speak with him.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so much.
he's not much of a talker.
Do I hear this conversation about the Warforged?
You would have heard the conversation, yes.
Okay, I start scowling as much as a Warforged can at this little
Mechanical
gnome.
eyebrows.
I think I just like kind of, yeah, I look at them with disdain and yeah, I'm not happy that they're here all of a sudden.
Okay.
Why are they here?
Was that to
Yeah,
anyone in
that's
particular,
Kallus.
or?
I'm kind of just exclaiming it at this point. So if anybody wants to answer, they can. They want to just ignore my my anger. That's
I'm just
fine
gonna
too.
turn around and say, "Oh, that's Kallus." Wander off.
Okay.
I just
Why is
carry
he
on
here?
talking to him. The fellow artificer.
But he dealt with us.
Ooh,
Hmm,
what have I pressed here?
Not a fan of people who dealt with us. I'm going away now, and I just.
So at this point, Alston has like busied himself with a notepad. He's like completely oblivious to you guys. At this point, he's just making sketches, and he's got his like, calipers out. And he's just taking measurements off of the engine case, and he's just busying himself with that. Claude's sort of every so often leaning around, just giving him a bit of a look, but just kind of shrugs and carries on dealing with the arrow damage. So, Thurimbar itself is a port town. You have sort of pitched up the smash and grab just outside the city walls, as you've done on pretty much every stop you've had so far. No one seems to really mind you sort of parking up because it's quite a interesting sort of novel addition to the town's entrance to draw in foot trade. The town itself is built on a sort of fairly gentle slope going down to the quayside. As you're sort of making your way down the main thoroughfare, as you're going down the slope, you can see there are various primarily street entertainers. First of all, is the main thing you notice is just the noise of this city. They are performing on various these sort of magically enchanted instruments. There is one sort of, they're just playing what looks like just a fairly thick metal rod that they're just sort of holding horizontally, and as they move their hands across it, is producing notes with sort of like slight colour effects coming off. There are a few with lutes that have been enchanted to amplify and add sort of over effects on there.
Oh no.
There's a couple of musicians playing flutes, and as they do, they're producing these sort of dancing images in front of the performers. One just playing sort of quite sort of balletic piece, and there is an image of an elven dancer in front of them. There's a slightly more lively group with some drums being played. There's like a set plate sort of like full height standing drums, a drum kit there. There's a couple of bongos, and every time they're hitting the beat, the crowd around them is sort of jumping in time and just seem to be sort of quite amused by it, as if the drums are lifting them up and down. As you go through, there's various shops selling instruments, jewelers and gemstone stores, enchanting services, coffee houses, wine bars, restaurants. This is very much like an upmarket kind of entertainment.
Goddamn hipsters.
To a degree, yes. And you can see going down to the quay, there are various sort of ships docked in there. There's a large lighthouse just out in the water on there. As you make your way towards the sort of more higher traffic area, you can see that there is a fairly busy tavern called the Siren's Call.
Not our sponsors.
Not our sponsors this week, no.
Maybe we should drum up
So-
some sponsorship.
It's up to you. There are a number of places to go check out. This is your holiday. What do you fancy?
I'm gonna check out that gem shop and see if I can have something
I was gonna say I'm gonna go see.
enchanted for cheap.
So I'm gonna go
Much
with
money
Maker
do
and
I
see if
have?
they can ask and see how much enchanting some gear might cost.
Okay. Kallus, anything from yourself?
I am gonna, whether it annoys the gnome or not, go for a drink with the gnome and discuss infernal combustion engines. I have very limited money left, so I'm gonna do something simple.
So you've left Alston. The rest of you have left Alston with the carriage. With the smash and grab just doing his measurements on there. Did you stay behind with
Yes,
them?
yes,
Okay,
I
that's,
would do.
that's fair enough. So you stay.
I'll catch
behind
up to those guys after.
and talk shop. So
Yep.
Michael and Mick. You find there's a jewelry store. Where are we? Let's have a look. Yeah. There is a jeweler's that is fairly quiet. You can see the odd few people coming in and out, and they've got some very elaborate pieces in there, various rings and necklaces and pendants. And the behind the counter inside is a female gnome, long, wavy brown hair, very kind of rough, almost like sunburnt skin, and she seems to be having a bit of an argument with one of the patrons. She goes, no, I told you this was 50 gold, you've given me 49 gold, so I need you to give me one more gold piece and then it is yours. And they come back, no, I gave you 100 for the whole lot. No, 100 was for the commissioning and repair work, 50 gold is for the final purchase. You are literally arguing with me about 1 gold. No, this is ridiculous. I've already paid. But tell you what, one of these gemstones is worth 1 gold. I will remove it from the dead centre of this necklace, leaving everything perfectly balanced, and that will then come to 49 gold. How about that? It's like, ridiculous. And storms out. She turns to you and goes, good afternoon. How can I help?
Hi, I'd like a enchanted necklace, please.
Okay. I'm going to need some more specifics than that. What sort of size of necklace would you like? What sort of setting?
Well,
What
one
sort of
that
gemstones?
fits.
How many gemstones? What enchantment would you like?
It's gotta be cool.
Would you
Something
Look,
blue.
I don't just do off-the-shelf enchanted jewellery. Okay, everything in here is custom designed per specification. So if you can tell me exactly what you're after, I'd be more than happy to write you up a price.
Something where I can tell if people are like joking or lying, because it's really hard. Fleshies are hard.
So, what? You want to read minds?
No, I just want help reading minds. Don't need to read them exactly.
Oh God.
I just need
Okay.
help.
Generally, what people are asking for is, something that will be useful to them.
Yeah.
A necklace
was-
that is enchanted to constantly smell of their favourite perfume. A set of glasses that give them perfect vision.
I don't need glasses. I have perfect vision. It's mechanical.
Well, that's good for you. But I don't think really that I can help with the sort of thing that you're after. Perhaps, you'd be better off speaking to one of the artificers who can maybe take a look at your core programming.
Do you know of any artificers who don't deal with Warforged?
Why would you want an artificer that doesn't deal with Warforged when you're a Warforged?
That hasn't dealt with Warforged in the past.
Most artificers around here have dealt with Warforged. Many of them very skilled, making excellent repair work.
Are they repair? Are they good people with Warforged?
Well, if you're injured, you can't exactly go and seek a cleric, can you? You'd need someone with mechanical skills, someone versed in your people's construction, someone who can repair you.
She called us people.
Look, to be perfectly honest, it feels like you're wasting my time. Is there anything you're looking at commissioning, or am I going to have to ask you to leave my shop?
You can ask, it's fine.
Very well. I'm going to ask you to leave now.
Okay, I'll wait.
I'm sorry, I feel I wasn't quite clear enough. Get out of my shop.
Okay, thank you. Bye now. And so I leave.
Fair enough. Mick, anything from yourself?
I'm going to request how much it would cost to enchant either my bow or my daggers or my arrows to do more damage.
I don't really deal with weaponry. Maybe have a word with one of the enchanted armourers down the street. I believe they have a special offer on some enchanted arrows at the moment.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
I leave.
Don't come back.
So are there any
Oh my god.
artificers about? Like down the road?
I'm just going to scowl at the person as I walk out the door. But yeah.
You can't
You
really.
guys just
I was
piss
going to say
everyone
there's nothing really obviously signposted as an artificer's shop. You can see that there are a few folks walking around with sort of like mechanical tooling, but a lot of them are just sort of stopping and listening to musicians playing and enjoying the general ambience of the street atmosphere. You can see further down the sort of strip that you're on, there is a there's like a sign hanging over a door that basically just has a sword and a bow crossed over with unnecessary sparkles going on. Like the sign itself is enchanted to glimmer.
Ooh.
And as you draw closer, you can see that there are a selection of weapons hanging up in the window. Inside, you can see that there is a forge to one side, and there's like a just a stack of books and like an alchemical lab and various sort of fine tools on the right hand side. There's no name above the shop. It's just this very fancy sign.
Too fancy to have a name.
It is. It's too fancy for a name.
Too fancy for a name. I think I'd walk in anyways, as it's all shiny, and I'll just go in and enjoy the shiny.
Okay. As you walk in, you can see a couple of folks just looking around, inspecting the goods. There's various sort of small arms on one side, and some general sort of like ammunition and accessories along the other. It's very well organised. Like, you are immediately impressed at just how neat and tidy everything is. And towards the back, working the forge, you can see a dragonborn, and directly behind them, appearing to cast some sort of magic into an axe, is an identical looking dragonborn. Both of them with gold scales both of them wearing what looks to be essentially a uniform, like a shop uniform. They've got like a sort of simple cloth, black cloth shirt. Both of them got these sort of quite nicely made leather apronets going on. The blacksmithing Dragonborn's got like a matching set of gauntlets on there, and they seem to be sort of passing items back and forth between one another. So the one on the left will finish the sword, pass it over to one on the right. The one on the right will pass the axe back to the one on the left, and they seem to be working this almost like perfect, almost like level of symmetry between the two of them. Mick, you notice that there is basically a case with various arrows in there, different head styles, and then just like a list of enchantments down the side, and it says all prices custom to order.
Great. I'm just going to harass the guy and say, which ones are the cheapest and how much are those?
Both of the Dragonborn sort of stop what they're doing and turn to you. And as they turn, you can see that they're kind of speaking in unison at you. There's a fraction of a second delay between them, and it's a little bit unsettling. They go, hello, welcome. How can we help you? You want arrows? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, great. You want the arrows. What arrows would you like? We have many arrows. We have the walloping arrows. We have flame arrows. We have arrows of slaying. What arrows would you like? Maybe it's new quiver for arrows, huh?
Which ones do you believe would help me more?
It depends on what you're hunting. What is your prey, my friend?
Pretty much everything.
Everything. You look for the all-purpose arrows. Arrows good for killing? Yes. You want the silent arrows. You want the loud arrows. You want the arrows that can kill 3 things. You want the arrows that do a big damage to 1 thing. Big chunky arrows. What arrows would you like?
Quiet. Do lots of damage to 1 thing.
You want a big, powerful arrow. Well, I'll give you this. Take a look. And they bring up from underneath the counter. The arrow itself is relatively slender, no different to the sort of the haft of anything you've seen before. But the tip, whilst it is flat and pointed, you can see has got this sort of fist emblem detailed into it. He goes, try these. These are walloping arrows. Great for you. Great for hitting target. Great for knocking target on its ass. It's good fun. Yes?
Potentially. What were these ones you're on about to hit multiple targets?
Oh, you want the splitting arrows? Oh, these are great fun. And puts the walloping arrow to one side on the counter and brings up another arrow, and you can see that the body of the arrow has got this sort of like almost like candy cane kind of striping to it. There's like 3 colours. There's a red, a gold, and a green twist going down the body of the arrow, and you can see that the head has got this sort of this sort of 3-way cut to it. Almost kind of looks like a fork that's been pointed to a tip. This goes, well, these are splitting arrows. You shoot them, and they they split into 3 arrows. Hit multiple targets. Must be close together, but for groups, if you're hunting, say, a pack of rabbits, or you're trying to hit wide side of big boar 3 times, great for that.
How much are these?
The splitting arrows? We do this. You want this in? We do this in a bundle of 5, a bundle of 10, or a bundle of 20. What you want?
How much is 5 to start with?
5 splitting arrows. That is 5 gold.
And how much is 20?
Oh, 20. Well, you see, if you buy more, you get slight discount. So 20 is 18. 18 gold.
Great. And how much were the walloping arrows?
Walloping arrows, they're 1 gold each. We generally tend to sell those in smaller, less demand for those.
Great. I'll take 20 of each.
Very good, my friend. Very good, my friend. Indeed. Well, I say we go ahead and get those made up for you. There will be about a day's wait time before we have them ready. We have to make them and then get the metal, and we have to fashion the wood, and we have to enchant the metal. And but yes, we could certainly punch those out for you by this time tomorrow.
Excellent.
Excellent, my friend. Can I take a name for order, please?
Dagger.
Dagger.
Yes.
You want
Mick
Dagger as well? Oh, your name is Dagger. It's convenient for you that you are interested in arms. It's nominative determinism, yes?
Yes.
Excellent. So Mick Dagger, and that is 20 split arrows and 20 wallop arrows, yes?
Yes.
Fantastic, Mr. Dagger. We will have those ready for you, as I said, by this time tomorrow, all things being equal. And here is receipt. Pay when we have ready.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Fantastic. And for you, my friend, and both of them turn to look at Michael.
I need a thing. I want a thingy. I want a blue necklacey thingy for magic. Spelly. I make fire. I can make fire now.
You can make fire. We have fire.
I know. I've
one on the
got
left
fire.
points back towards the forge. We have plenty fire, but thank you. It's generous of you.
I can make fire now, and I like start whirling up like I start whirling up a firebolt on my 2 fingers. I can make fire now.
Whoa, it's impressive. And they just sort of, the one on the right just kind of reaches over with one of the gauntleted hands and just sort of snuffs it out in your hand. It's impressive, but please, no magic in the shop. We are working with some potentially dangerous enchantments here. We don't want any accidents.
I'm sorry. I'm new to this. So yeah, magic necklacey thingy.
Magic necklace. What sort of necklace you're after? You're after one that can throttle someone, or act to hold someone in place. Sort of trap necklace.
No, I just want to wear. Want to like one that glows when I do stuff. Like the fiery thingy, and I put the fingers up, but I like for some reason it doesn't work this time. But you know.
Maybe this is something you go see the jewelry store up the road about. They
they sent me here.
Oh well, I'm sorry, my friend. We mainly do arms and armaments in this store. We don't really do the cosmetic jewelries.
Okay.
Well, sorry we cannot help, but Mr. Dagger, we will see you tomorrow for your arrows.
Excellent. Also,
Excellent.
that lady at the top of the road, utter bitch.
Oh, she is quite particular and will argue about pretty much anything, but she is very good at what she does.
Okay, bye. And I just like Snoopy walk out of the house, out of the shop.
So swing back to Kallus, because we've neglected you somewhat. So whilst you've been chatting away with the artificer interested in the carriage with Alston, he's gone on to explain that they've been doing research into the Warforged Colossi, which were these enormous building-sized Warforged constructs created basically as almost like a nuclear level deterrence against forces brought to bear during the last Great War. And these things were absolutely colossal. They were moving towers of stone and metalwork. There was sort of room within them for groups of up to maybe a dozen mages and artificers to move around freely. work within the systems. We're talking like effectively just an arcane mecha with a
Nice.
sizable crew. And like, oh
This is
yes, yeah,
awesome.
well, I suppose I can tell you, seeing as you know you're House Cannith representative. I found one of the prototypes that disappeared from the records.
When you say found,
Found it. The records never show, but House Cannith used 7 prototype colossi during the early days of the last war. They were never put on the record because they were designed for specialized functions. I believe I found prototype EX07, codenamed Wavebreaker.
Wavebreaker. And this was a seafaring one, I'm guessing?
It was designed for coastal naval engagements. So it's
Interesting.
basically waterproof to the waist up. It could stand waist deep and still fire cannons. It was a beautiful thing. I think I found it, and it's literally over that ridge, and you can see that there is palpable excitement on this gnome.
I take it I believe him.
Oh yeah, you don't get any impression that they are lying.
In that case, I'm all about this. I will go with him.
Fantastic. There is one slight problem. Its power
Go
core is depleted. Its consciousness is still intact, but it doesn't have any power whatsoever to get it mobile. And I was hoping that maybe the power source used in your engine here, we could try kickstarting it with.
How much power are we expecting to use from this?
I don't know. From what I can tell, this is some sort of elemental powered core that you have inside of this engine, which means that it is fundamentally it's tapping power directly from an elemental plane. It's more power than these things were ever designed to. The Colossi were never designed to handle this much power. But if we're just using a little bit of it as a Kickstarter, then that should be enough to start up its own internal power sources and keep everything running. I mean, I would literally be using it to jumpstart a robot, and then it's yours to take back. I can continue my research.
Are you talking about removing the power core from this?
Well, we can't exactly drive this whole carriage up into the chest cavity of a Colossus. We'd have to remove the power source and take it there by hand. Can you just make me a perception check, please, Kallus?
Oh god, where's my stats gone? That is a 12.
You are so absorbed in this conversation that you've not noticed that the sky has gone very dark and it has started raining. We're going to switch back to Mick and Mycure very briefly. As you guys emerge from the shop, you notice that quite a lot of people are starting to sort of clear the streets as the heavens are starting to open. And you then hear this enormous crashing sound. And as you look out towards the port, you can see one of the larger galleons has just collapsed in half and started to sink. And the waters around it are starting to churn. And emerging from the water, clawing its way up the side of the lighthouse, is this absolutely colossal dragon turtle.
Ah, shit.
This thing is the size of a mountain with limbs like multiple tree trunks. And it stands as tall as the lighthouse at this point and just opens its mouth and this superheated blast of steam and salt water just vaporizes the lighthouse from the inside out. This blast just travels right the way down. You can see it blowing out through each of the windows, and then the whole structure starts to crumble, and it turns and roars towards the port. At this point, Kallus, you would have noticed Dragon Turtle emerging from the water, wrecking a ship and a lighthouse. Alston turns to you and goes, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but now might be the exact time for us to get a giant war machine up and running.
Yep, can't argue with that.
Fantastic.
Do I know how to remove this power core? Do I have any idea how to remove this thing?
We will find out after the break.
Oh, shit.
Hey.
So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes' time.
This
And
break
we're
was
back.
brought to you. This break was brought to you by the Bountiful Vine, the place you go to forget your troubles, and with enough effort, your own first name. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Smooth.
So, stage we're at. Kallus, you've just seen a dragon turtle emerge from the sea and basically destroy the lighthouse.
Yeah.
At Alston's offer to take the infernal core from the smash and grab to go and restart a nearby prototype Warforged Colossus. Mick and Mycure, you're still in town and have just seen the dragon turtle level a lighthouse amid the screams and now general panic of the various citizenry here. You can hear bells now ringing out an alarm across the town, summoning the militia to arm up and the citizenry to take shelter. What are you doing?
I make my way back towards the smash and grab.
Yeah, I follow. I follow Mick.
On my way, I might accidentally throw a stone at the jeweler's shop window.
Yeah. That's
Chaos, and he still throws stones at random people.
Just make me a straight.
And they shouldn't be assholes.
Just make me a straight dex check with your proficiency.
Town's getting destroyed, but fuck you.
It's a 17.
Yeah, you managed to smash out one of the panels.
You're
in
the
window.
worst.
You don't stick around long enough to see what happens.
No, just as I'm running past.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you successfully
Fucking
smash
bitch.
out one of their windows with a pebble you've picked up off the road. So
That's what you get for being, a bitch and talk to me like trash.
So you make your way back to the smash and grab where Kallus and Alston fill you in on their plan. At this point, Alston actually clocks that Mycure is a Warforged and looks and goes, oh, "Excellent. Do you have any experience with Colossi?"
No. Why is he still here? Wasn't he done? Why
Wait.
are you still here?
Sorry, how I know we're pressed for time. How old are you? Do you remember when you were constructed? Do you know how long you've been in active service for?
I'm like 3, man.
Okay.
Why is he still here?
This could be tricky, but I think we can pull it off. Can we take the core out of this engine?
If he's not doing it, I'm already trying to delicately,
That's
as
fine.
best I can, with the dragon turtle, however far away it is.
That's fine. The dragon turtle is far enough away to look like a very big turtle at this point, but you can still see that, like, ruined lighthouse for scale, this thing is gargantuan. We're talking like kaiju size. So, can you make me an Arcana check, please?
Yes.
This is to successfully sort of safely
That's
remove the
11.
11. Okay. So, like I say, you're not overtly familiar with the inner workings of the engine. You're sort of familiar with the theory behind it, but you've never actually had to deal with something like this in practice. So you do manage to remove the core, but you take 6 points of fire damage from accidentally burning yourself on stuff in the
That could have
process.
gone worse.
But you have successfully removed the core. You can see it is the same little sort of like gold filigree orb, and you can see that there is this sort of swirling flame inside of it.
Okay.
Alston's like, "Quick, follow me. We haven't got much time." And they start to make their way away from the townhouse,
I follow.
north towards this sort of mountain ridge.
I follow them.
You can see.
Why are we wrecking the wagon?
I shout
Come
back. We
stop
need the
working.
power core.
As you start to make your way, as you start to leave the smash and grab behind, you can see that Claude has already settled himself into the driver's cab.
Oh, he's not running.
No, he's settled into the driver's cab and he's already started reloading the blunderbuss. And as you're running away, he sort of just pulls on a little lever, and you see the sort of forward lanterns on the smash and grab flash twice with a little chirping noise, and the suspension on the wheels just lowers it down to the floor and locks it into position.
Nice.
So Claudius, he is fully ready to defend this thing with his life.
Okay, yeah, we better hurry up.
Okay. So, after a bit of a hurried rush north of town, you make your way through some a bit of a forested area over a small rise. And as you come down into a sort of low valley on the other side, you see this very oddly shaped mountain, which you slowly come to realise is effectively a giant version of Mycure. You can see there's a visible head and arms, torso, legs, and it's just sort of slumped in a sort of reclined position against a hill. There's various trees grown up around it, and roots and stuff have grown over the legs. And Alston sort of hurries you along to the side of one of the legs where there's an open door. You make your way in. Inside, you can see that the interior of the leg is completely hollow, and is lit with these little sort of gem lights right the way along. And so you make your way. There is a ladder set into the floor. It's sort of gently rising up, and you sort of make your way along this ladder up to what you assume is the knee joint, and then down the other side towards the hip, through the hip joint into the lower access. As you climb your way up into the chest cavity, Alston's like, okay, you want to go ahead and install the power core in there, and points to what effectively looks like a large furnace set into the sort of forward section of this, the abdomen on there. Like I say, it looks like a furnace, so you've got this sort of double door thing with like a grill on the front of it. And inside there is a receptacle with various sort of little brass arms pointing in towards the centre, and a void where the core would fit into.
I'm just gonna leave it more to the gnome than actually do it.
Okay. So
because I'm very aware it looks.
Go ahead.
I'm just aware that it looks dangerous, and I'm keen to not get blown up.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let him do it.
So, yeah.
Them.
They open up the front of this thing, and they sort of start moving some of the little armatures out the way, and then very carefully take the infernal core from you and set it into this sort of furnace assembly, and start connecting up the little brass bits and pieces. They then shut the doors and like, okay, might need to. I was kind of expecting something at this point. Follow me, and heads towards the back of the sort of opposing wall to where the power core is, and shims up a ladder, heading into the sort of chest cavity of this thing. As you follow, you can see that there is, this is clearly where they've been living. There is a large table in the centre. Around the outside of this chamber, there are some more ladders leading up, and some viewports out towards the front of the chest. And there are also the remains of about a dozen sort of bunks set in there, one of which has been sort of fixed up and repurposed and clearly slept in. They make their way up another ladder into what is effectively the shoulders of this thing. This construct is absolutely enormous inside. You can see from the kind of size and space that you've got that there would effectively be sufficient room for a crew of 12 when this thing was normally operational.
This thing is bigger than I was actually expecting as well.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's ridiculous.
Several houses stacked up. It is gargantuan. As you make your way up into the shoulder level, you can see facing forward from the shoulders are two large sort of cannons, and there appears to be sort of connections to like a pivot at the base, and then connections going down into the flooring below. They continue up another level into the head of this thing. Set inside the mouth is an enormous cannon, which is connected off to a large assembly behind it and to the right. A further ladder goes up into the top of the head, where you can see there is a control platform set up. This thing looks like an enormous, like basically a big chair, but with indents on the side for hands to, basically a 5-fingered hand to set into on either side. Directly in front there is another set of controls, and Alston immediately starts sort of busying himself on the control, and you can see there's a few sort of banks of lights coming on there. And as they look around, they're like, well, we've got power, but we need a pilot. And he turns to Mycure and goes, specifically, we need a Warforged pilot.
What? You expect me to pilot my own kind?
You're the only one with a compatible interface that would be able to operate it. I mean, none of us can think fast enough or directly interact with this thing on a level that it requires to get it up and moving. Like we can operate the weapon systems, but you need to drive.
It wants you inside.
This is true. You guys are pretty fleshy. And I am very smart.
And they point to the chair and go, please, we're running out of time. We need to try this. We need to try this now.
Okay. I don't like this. There better be something blue and shiny at the end of this. And so I begrudgingly sit in the chair and I slot myself into the holes that are ready for me.
So as you sit down and lock your hands into the recesses on the arms of the control chair, you can feel the chair itself is almost set into, there's like a back panel and a seat and the side panels, and they all sort of just slightly adjust to better fit to your form. You're not sat, it doesn't look like you're sitting comfortably, it's very much a little bolt upright on there. And I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, good. Oh, wait. Pretty good. That is a 22.
Fantastic. So as you connect in, you can feel this sudden wave of energy just suffuse your entire body. Your vision goes completely dark, and you hear a voice inside your head that just says, "This is Wavebreaker. Are you my pilot?"
I am your pilot.
Pilot imprint accepted. Initializing. And at that point, your vision comes back, but you don't see. You no longer see the sort of control center inside the head of this thing. You see a view over the valley. You can see the town under attack off to the south. And it's at this point you recognize that you are now looking through the eyes of the Colossus.
Nice.
Quickly back to the rest of you. Alston begins to point out that there are several weapon systems built into this. So there are 2 turrets set into the chest level, and there is a primary weapon set into the mouth. So you've got the 2 smaller turrets set into the chest, 1 large primary weapon set into the mouth.
Yep.
Effectively, the turrets can be operated by a single individual. The primary weapon will require 2 people. And it's easy enough to get back and forth between the 2. The ladder connecting the head to the chest section allows you sort of easy access up and down between the 2 spaces if you need to move back and forth.
I will let Mick go for the main weapons if he wants,
I don't mind.
because he's probably more proficient
So
with
you're going to
weaponry than I am.
You're going to need to coordinate this between you. Like I say, the main primary weapon set into the mouth will require 2 people to operate it. The turret weapon set into the chest can be operated by a single individual each.
Okay.
So you can either take a turret each or both jump onto the mouth cannon, but you're free to move back and forth between them as you wish.
In that case,
if we want to fire the main cannon, we both have to come up the top.
Yeah.
If we want to fire the turrets, we can both just run down the bottom and shoot either or.
Yeah. Let's get a turret each then.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. So you make your way down, you leave Alston sort of busying himself at the controls. Mike, back to you. You can now feel you've got sensation through the limbs of this Colossus
Yes.
Now. Oh my.
Yes.
What do you want to do?
Oh, I'm gonna start moving forwards.
Fair enough. Can you make me a strength check, please, with a +10?
Thank God for that.
11.
+10 makes it. Oh wait, yeah. So it was 13. So +10 makes it +8, 19.
19. As you stand, you feel the various plant growth that has made its way over the limbs of this Colossus over the time it's been inactive, just snapping away as you haul this enormous form to its feet. You are now standing well above tree lines, mountains. You feel like a god, the power that this thing has. And you can see the dragon turtle is now starting to make its way towards the port town. The rest of you, I need you to just make me a dexterity saving throw each, please.
Oh god. Oh god, where's my character gone? Oh, natural 20. That's such a waste, but
That's fine.
it happened.
And Mick?
17.
17. Fantastic. Okay, so yeah, you're both sort of caught a little bit off guard by the sudden lurching movement of this thing standing up. But between sort of planting your feet firmly on the plating below and holding onto a turret weapon each, you manage to avoid being thrown onto your asses. So the Colossus is now upright and mobile. Pilot, over to you.
We're striding right the way over to that turtle bastard.
That's fine.
My ego is flying through the roof right now, and I'm just striding towards.
As you're moving, you're sort of like
turtle.
looking down at your hands and just sort of flexing them. You see these enormous mechanical hands moving back and forth, and as you look over them, you can see there is like a sort of HUD readout just analysing the various systems in there. And just sort of experimentally, you sort of think about sort of like swinging a punch. As you ball up the fist, you see this armor plate shifts from the back of the hand over to the front of the knuckles. And on both hands, you can see that as you close them into fists, they move and shift to create these very just sort of like solid hammer-like shapes at the end of each arm. And then as you open your hands again, the plates shift back and return to just being 5 fingers. So you're just sort of doing this sort of flex and curl of your fingers, shifting them back and forth.
Oh, that's going to be a
between the
5-finger
forms.
death punch and a half.
Take your inspiration.
Yeah.
As you're moving, you can see, you look down at your feet, and Mick and Kallus, you just hear a sudden shriek from Alston as he almost loses his balance, not realising that the head has just tipped forward to look down at the Colossus's feet. And again, you can see that there are...
Oh, God.
You can see that the feet, the sort of the lower legs are a slightly darker material. Clearly, this is the waterproofing that Alston was talking about. But you can see that each of the feet, as you sort of move it forward, again, you get this sort of similar shifting of plates towards the front, and then as it steps down, they sort of retract back. And you reckon that those could deliver a pretty powerful stompy kick.
Would you say they kick as hard as they punch?
They do kick as hard as they punch. So you start stomping your way down towards the port. At this point, the dragon turtle has spotted you and turns and roars in your direction. I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative, please.
Hey.
Yes! Roll, fight the power!
Oh God.
I rolled a net 20.
Oh, God. We're going to die.
We're all gonna die.
Give him a cursor back. All right, so okay, Kallus, please.
15.
15. Mycure?
20.
Actually, Mycure, as you are the pilot, you will be sharing initiative with the Colossus.
Right.
So you've actually got an initiative of 16 and act as the Colossus. And Mick, sorry?
6.
6. That's fine. Okay. So, you've now managed to stomp your way down to the port, and the dragon turtle has turned on you. First up, we have Mycure in control of the Colossus. So, I will just briefly pop this into the channel so you can have a look at the stats of what you're working with. So, the Colossus on its turn, so you can do any sort of normal actions that you would do being a humanoid form. In addition, on your turn, you can make 3 attacks through the Colossus. Slightly different for the way we've got this. You can either make 2 fist attacks, or a fist attack and a stomp attack.
Okay.
For the rest of you, you can take any of your normal actions on your turn, or you can use one of the onboard weapons, stats for which are also included on there. So the 2 smaller turrets are Eldritch turrets, which have a range of 300 foot, an 18 to hit, and on a hit do 18 points of force damage. Or you've got the primary weapon, which is the incinerating beam, which will require both of you to operate, which just does a huge big old Death Star laser damage. So, Mick, I was going to say, Mick and Kallus, obviously in between you are, obviously in addition to the weapon systems, you are free to use any of your normal actions. Mike, you're kind of bound to the form of the Colossus, so your sorcery is kind of off the table at this point. You are, however, effectively a walking god, which should compensate somewhat.
Okay.
So, what would you like to do?
I'm a multi-attack this.
Yep.
I'm a swing with my right fist.
Go for
aiming
it.
straight into the soft underbelly of the turtle.
Go for it. Roll a d20, please. Whilst I find what the hell I've done with the stat blocks.
Okay, so that's 24 to hit.
24. Sorry, bear with me. I should have been more prepared than this. I was more prepared than this. I don't know what's happened to my preparation. D4 Dragon Turtle. Where is it? There we go. Yeah. So, yes, 24 definitely hits. If you can go ahead and roll me some damage, please. So that's 3d12 plus 10.
That is 23.
Okay. So the fist sort of balls up. You see the plate shift into position. Bam! Just connects with the chest of this enormous creature. Are you going for another one?
Another fist? Yes. So I hit it with my left, and it's a hook to the face, and I can feel the plate shifting as I swing, and that is 29 to hit.
That also hits. More damage, please. Another 3d12 plus 10.
Plus 10.
Yeah.
Cool, that's 35.
35. That's a bit better, isn't it? So yeah, as both of these swings come in, you can see that the shell of this dragon turtle starting to crack a little bit, and it's surprised that something of this force was brought to bear against it. It was fully anticipating like no resistance on here. fairly certain that's it for your turn, but is there anything else you wanted to suggest?
It says I make 3 attacks. One with its slam. Oh, and then uses stomp.
Yeah, so we're doing a slightly different to the
with
the
2.
stat
Yes,
block
yes, yes,
because
yes,
you're
yes, yes.
piloting it. So you can make 2 attacks, either fist,
That's
stamp.
fine.
and the
Then
turrets are an option for the
that
others.
is my go. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, Kallus, you're up, and Mick, you are on deck.
So I am going to, if I'm okay to do it, ready my action on the incinerator beam. So
Yep.
whatever movement I need, and then ready for when Mick is ready.
Yep. So you are.
And I'll
prepped
just
and ready.
shout up or down or wherever it is that he is.
So you would have had to move from the chest cavity to the mouth to start readying it.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'll
you
do
would
that. And as I do
certainly
it,
yeah, you'd certainly have had time on your way past to give Mick the indication that that's what you're up to.
Yep. That is all I want to do. And whenever he's ready, I will fire at it. Or I'll let him fire, however the hell it works.
Absolutely fine. So you've already headed up and started making preparations on the incineration beam, and you can see that the sort of gyros and the energy system starting to warm up on there. Okay. It is now the dragon turtle's turn.
Shit.
They are 2 seconds. There we go. Okay, so there we are. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm tracking everything. Okay, not best pleased with what's happened here. They are going to go ahead and just hit the Colossus with a steam breath. So, Micure, I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw. So roll a d20 and add 10.
Not 20.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Get shit on Michelangelo looking ass.
So, yeah, this gout of superheated saltwater steam just clocks the Colossus straight in the chest. You manage to move enough to protect any of the internal operators, but you can feel there's just this searing pain that courses across the skin of the Colossus as it takes.
And I feel that. And I feel that too. I'm like, ow!
Yep.
That actually hurts! Ow!
Yep, the
Really?
Colossus takes 31 points of fire damage.
Nice.
Good.
And is now injured. I don't believe the turtle can do anything else on its turn because that is... Yep, that's its action for go. Cool. So, next up we've got Mick. So you've seen Kallus like bolt past you, saying, "I'm a firing the laser."
Okay. So I will exit the nipple cannon and head up to the mouth with him.
Excellent. Okay. So, what I need you to do is, first of all, make me a... No, so it's going to be... already going to be facing the right direction. So, you can see that Kallus is already there on the controls powering everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And there is essentially just a big sort of trigger mechanism behind there. You can see the dragon turtle is directly in front of that. And there's a big red button on the back, and you just go ahead and slap it. So,
Ooh, shiny.
dragon turtle needs to make a dexterity saving throw. Let's see. So that is a... Oh no. Yeah, they failed on that. Can you go ahead and roll me 11d10?
Alright.
Damn.
Hey,
Definitely.
apologies.
Good evening.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
That's 67.
Jesus.
67. So the dragon turtle takes 67 points of giant laser damage.
It's like a moderate surprise attack from Badger.
Sorry, I've literally just said it and then forgotten what the number was.
67.
67.
Thank you. Yeah, so this enormous powered beam just sort of blasts it in the face and it screeches and reels back. Daisy, can you go ahead and just roll me initiative, please?
I don't know. I can't even remember what fucking day it is. I'm going to try.
That is absolutely fine.
Inish. Oh, fuck you. Tom, how do I roll it again?
So exclamation C space in it.
That was it. 6. I'm so glad I turned up.
Fantastic. So, you are teleported into the chest cavity of a Warforged Colossus.
Oh,
You're not entirely
okay.
sure how you've got there or what's going on, but you can see out of the viewport in the chest that a dragon turtle has just leveled a lighthouse.
Cool.
Are you familiar with the Mummer's Tale of Pacific Rim?
I certainly am.
That's where we're at.
Okay, so
you are in the
we've-
chest cavity
we-
of a Warforged Colossus currently being piloted by Mycure.
Hi.
hey,
The chest cavity contains 2 single-point turrets that can be operated by an individual,
okie doke.
and there is a larger turret set into the mouth that requires 2 people to operate. So on your turn, you are free to take any of your normal actions, or you can use your action to operate the turret.
Cool. You said it needs 2 people to operate the turret, so
there's
presumably
there's 2 single-person chest turrets, and there is 1 2-person giant death laser set into the mouth.
okay. And where are the others in this scenario?
So, Mycure is currently piloting the Colossus.
Yeah.
Kallus and Mick have just fired the mouth laser for a significant amount of damage against the dragon turtle. And you've just
Okay.
appeared in the chest cavity and had all this information magically relayed to you because wizards.
Awesome.
It
Get
is
on
now
a
your
nipple
turn.
cannon.
What would you like to do?
It, yes. Can he pilot it by himself?
So
What does it
Mycure
need?
is basically integrated into the Colossus now. It is moving, and it is all of its sort of physical attributes are now operated directly by them.
Okay, so that's a yes. He can pilot
I
it
got
by
5 on
himself.
it.
Yeah,
Um,
they are full mecha pilot on this.
Right, but they're solo mecha pilots is what I'm getting
Solo
at.
mecha pilot, yeah, there is, like I say, the weapon systems can be operated by the crew inside, or the crew inside can take their own actions.
Okay, am I able to operate the laser beam again, or is that sort of a one-time
So
deal because
the
they're already on it?
big old mouth cannon has just fired, and it's going to need to be reloaded. The chest
Right.
cannons have not been fired, but they do not require reloading.
And can I do that myself? I thought you said it
You
needs
can-
2 people.
No, the mouth cannon is the one that requires 2 people.
Right, so I can fire
Chest
the
cannons,
chest
you
cannon.
can just hop on a chest cannon and start blasting.
Cool, I'll do that.
Okay.
What would you like me to do?
So if you can roll me a d20 and add 18, please.
Fuck me. Okay. $30.
30. That hits. Can you roll 4d8, please?
Oh my god.
We're just big
19.
numbers tonight. 19. So the
Yeah.
first
Roll,
shot,
roll, fight the power.
the first shot
Okay.
fires and hits the dragon turtle square, and you can see just like this rapid fire energy blast of 4 shots going off and just smacking it square in the chest.
Fantastic. Do I get another shot, or is that my turn done?
Yeah, you get another shot.
Sweet. This fucking rules.
So roll to hit again, and it's plus 18 to hit.
18. No, 28. Sorry.
28. Yep, that hits. Roll another 4d8 damage, please.
17 this time.
So again, another volley of fire comes off of the cannon, and you hit this thing square. Square in
It's not just me who's seeing basically like Amek's tits shooting it.
Yeah, they're tit guns.
Right, fantastic. So you fully
I'm not
sort
gonna lie,
of like.
I just see Austin Powers and the fembots.
I was about to say
Mick,
that.
Yeah.
Mick has already referred to them as nip guns.
So, so the nip guns from the fembot have hit.
Yep.
Okay.
And that will be it from yourself.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Next up, Wavebreaker and its pilot.
I'm gonna hit it in the face with a right hook.
Okay. Roll to hit. So that's
Seismic slam.
D20 plus 18.
Nice. What have I done?
38 with a nat 20.
That hits.
Fucking
Nice.
go.
So
Jesus.
roll
Nat
3d12,
20. Oh no.
double it, and add 10.
Jesus.
Sweet.
Okay, so that's 30, then 60, 70. I hit him for 70 damage.
Fantastic. So this is a
Jesus.
super powered right hook. So you really feel it wind back, and you see the plates come over.
Seismic
As the plate comes over the knuckles,
slam.
you see that it then extends forward into a series of 3 fairly brutal looking spikes, probably about the size of a cart each.
About,
And you just,
would you say they were drills? Would you say they were drills?
you know what? Yeah, they're drill shaped.
Yeah, they
Oh,
fucking
no.
are.
And you clock, and you not only do you crack this thing in the jaw, but you also score like 3 deep drill gashes across its hide. This thing is now bleeding out from these huge wounds.
I let out a defiant roar against the turtle.
Absolutely fine. Are you going to take another attack?
Cool.
Yes.
Kicking
I'm gonna
nuts.
use the same right hand.
Go for it. Roll to hit. D20 plus 18.
Plus 18. It's 29!
29 hits.
Cool.
So again, 3d12 plus 10.
Plus 10. That is 28 damage.
Okay.
Nice.
This thing dead yet?
So yeah, another clock straight onto this thing. No, it's a lighthouse-sized dragon turtle. It's not
Thing's
dead
got like a
yet.
million HP.
Oh, it chonk. He chonky and
He
he chonk for
chonky.
you.
I think there's a reason.
Dragon
for
tails are awesome.
robot that's smashing it.
Yeah, it's almost like you required a building-sized robot to punch it in the face. Cool.
So
Oh,
I hit him with
think that's
another
like a
seismic slam.
So yeah, following up with that same right hook, this thing is sort of stumbles backwards, crushing the remains of the lighthouse under one giant leathery clawed foot, and then turns around and just snarls at you, defiant to the last. Kallus, you're up.
Do we get the turret back? Because
You can attempt to reload it.
That's a 5 or a 6 on a D6, isn't it? I
It
think,
is, yes, yeah.
if I'm reading this right.
So roll a d6.
Yeah,
or
I
5 or
fucked it.
6. Okay.
I got a 4.
So the reload
Damn,
process
so close.
hasn't quite gone off.
Okay, I will. Is that my action to attempt to reload it, or can I go back up into the little turret and fire that?
For the sake of shenanigans, yeah, go for it. Go for the nip turret.
Sweet. I'll go up to the. I think the left nip turret,
Look,
unless
we're already
Mick-
fast and
Mick-
loose outside the rules for 5e. At this point, if you start quibbling over the rules for the sake of what's not fun, then
It
what's
might
the
all
point?
break at once.
The whole
Right,
thing,
I'll
the
go.
ass falls out of everything.
I'll go for the left nip turret.
Cool.
Okay.
Right, so it's an 18
That's
plus
it.
to hit.
D20 plus 18.
So that's 36 to hit.
That hits. Roll me 4d8, please.
D8. This could be
So you sort of fumble the controls on the mouth laser, swear loudly, and then just grabbing either side of the ladder.
17.
Grabbing either side of the ladder, slide down into the chest cavity and run over to the unoccupied turret. Thoroughly surprised to see Daisy is suddenly there. And just
What the? Yeah.
laughing her tits off as she fires her tits off. And you hop onto the turret.
Funny.
Hop onto the turret and fire. And again, all 4 shots find their mark against the turtle.
17 total.
Yep. That's fine. So you can see these like 4 pockmarked smouldering craters on its chest, and it is still going.
Nice.
Oh God.
I'd say that would be the end of it for you. The second shot, you wouldn't have had enough time to get off a second volley.
Absolutely.
In between
Yep.
reloading.
Yep.
So next up, it is the dragon turtle, who, understandably pissed.
Oh, sorry. Before we go on, do we know how much life we have in our giant mech,
410.
and
It's
how much we got
already-
left?
It's already taken like a steam blast. So a lot
31
of the
damage.
like the
40.
casing
31,
is
okay.
like damaged and beaten to hell.
Okay, so we've got 400. Did you say 410? Was the original, or 310?
It's in game room 1 if you want the stats for it.
Oh, sorry.
further
I'll
up
shut up
slightly.
and let you carry on. Sorry.
Okay, so Dragon Turtle is going to go ham with its claws. And this is a new dice moment.
Oh no.
Sponsored by the Bountiful Vine.
Shawbaw
Sponsored by
dice is going to
Bountiful
kill us.
Both hits. Where are we?
Okay.
And just carves these huge gashes into the casing of the Wavebreaker. Michael, you feel each of these strikes as they tear into the metal of the Colossus.
Do we know what we've been
Is
hit
this
for?
pain feels like? I've never been hit before.
Yeah. On your sort of on the like heads up display inside the from like your field of vision from within the Colossus, you see a warning flash up that says condition injured.
Okay.
Oh, guys, it says I'm injured. I'll be honest, it feels like it.
It then goes and just tries to take a chunk out of your shoulder with this enormous like serrated beak coming in.
Did you succeed on your wisdom saving throw, Thomas? Or did the big thing succeed on a wisdom saving throw for starting within 30 feet of us?
It doesn't need to.
Oh, okay.
Like I say, fast and loose with the rules here.
With you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading what we can do.
It just sinks its teeth
Error.
down onto its shoulder. And I'm going to need you to make me, Mike, a strength saving throw. So D20 plus 10, please.
Bless you.
Plus 10, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, 13.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So again,
That's
the
not
warning
good.
the warning flashes up on your vision. It says critical. It says condition injured, and you can see that the turtle is just clamped onto your shoulder. You sort of grab it by its throat and just push it back, and it tears some of the metal into the shoulder with it, but it doesn't manage to maintain a grip on you. Okay, so it's the end of its turn. Mick, you're up. Daisy, you're on deck.
Okay. Who wants to be the guy that crawls inside the turtle and tries to blow it up from the inside out?
We can discuss that later on. Mick, what are you doing?
I'm going to try and reload the giant cannon.
Okay, so if you can roll a d6, please. You're looking to get a 5 or a 6 to reload it.
I got a 5.
Way!
So after you've seen Kallus just sort of like swear at the controls and then slide down the ladder, you just sort of walked over and then flicked the button that says reload, and you can see
fuck
that
you, that guy.
you can see the control panel flares into life, and the cannon is ready to fire again, but it will require someone else to fire it.
I'm just going to yell down the ladder to Daisy, get up here and fire this cannon.
Yeah, okay, that makes
I
sense.
need help. Help with the cannon.
That's fine.
That'll be my turnover.
People have trouble with my cannon.
Daisy, what are you doing with
I
this
hear Fletcher say
information
that
that
all
you
the
are now required to press the go button on the Death Star laser in its mouth?
I will do what he said. I will run up and press the Death Star laser.
Cool, that's fine. If you can go ahead and... Okay, so... Sorry.
Hang on. Roll 1d20 plus... Is it 18 again?
No,
Is it
this is
more?
slightly different. So the mouth laser just is a beam weapon, so you just like look at it and just go bah!
I open
Okay.
my mouth.
Yeah.
Shoot
let's
the
have a look.
whoop.
Reminds me of
So
that
going
guy
to
from
be- so
Dragon
you
Ball
need
Z
to-
when you
do you
fire
need
the
to-
laser out. his mouth.
Napper.
Yeah.
Do you need to make
Yeah,
a
the
DC
Dragon Turtle needs to make
26?
a Dex saving throw, which they failed. So can you please go ahead and roll me 11d10 damage, please?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
D10. If it doesn't get greater than 60, I'm going to be livid. 67. I suppose that's okay.
It's the exact
That's
same as
alright,
last
I
time.
guess.
Weird.
We take those.
Yeah, 67.
Okay. So yeah, this beam of energy just like clears the bottom part of its jaw off. And it is looking furious but very badly burned.
Okay. Do I have more that I can do, or is that my entire
That would
action?
be the end of your turn.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm very badly burned, but I'm okay.
Back to the top of the round, Wavebreaker and its pilot. So Wavebreaker
Seismic Slam!
Someone's been watching Boku no Hero too much.
So
Honky,
if you
watch
can go ahead and make me a Seismic Slamu attack, please.
Thank you.
I have just noticed.
26.
26, that definitely hits. Roll me some damage, please. That's 3d12 plus 10.
3d12 plus 10, thanks, because it's a long way up now. That is 21 to hit.
21 to hit or
I thought
21
it was-
damage? I thought you already
I
hit.
thought it was
21
20.
damage. Sorry,
There we
21
go.
damage.
Cool. So the first attack comes in and bam! You can see that like one of the like the whole shell plate has just cracked off where you followed up on some of the damage from the turret weapons.
Hell yeah. Alright. I roll again. Seismic! Winding up.
Yep.
Nat 20 slam!
Oh my god.
Okay,
How many
so
nat
if
20s have you
can
got?
Go ahead and roll me 3d12, double it, and add 10, please.
Had about 4 this evening.
Is that two in a row you got nat 20s on? Oh no, it's not.
2 turns
Okay,
in a row.
No,
that
he's
this
done
happened.
one.
2 turns in a row, yeah.
That's nuts.
So that's 28 plus 10.
38.
38 damage.
How do you want to do this?
Okay, so I'm thinking
Spirit
I'm
vomit.
wound up so much and so hyped from being the pilot of this giant warforged that my sorcerer's energy that I haven't been able to expel this entire fight has been building up, and it starts pouring out of this big mech, and it transfigures the drills into one big drill fist.
Yep.
And as I do this last final punch blow through the center of the turtle, the drill just creates like a brief vortex in the core of this dragon turtle before it just explodes the middle out of it.
I get what you're going for, but all I hear is that you like drill fisted him to death.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So as you bring your giant drill fist down, you shatter the remains of the dragon turtle from beak to butthole, or cloaca in this case. And it just explodes outwards, showering the bay from Thurimbar in dragon turtle gobbets. As it does, and you stand there triumphant, you can hear the cheers and cries from the city behind you. You can see some of the more industrious sailors have already started to make out on their boats into the bay to go and collect up some dragon turtle meat and shells for various bits and pieces. They're already looking to salvage what they can from there.
And I raise my fist up into the air with the drill held high, and I spin it in a sign of triumph, but it also flings the excess turtle meat that's on the drill.
Excellent.
It just flings it everywhere. like a blender that's got the lid on.
Yeah.
I think every time when you said that, all I can hear is like the Monty Python, and there was much rejoicing. Yay.
It's just one side. Yay!
That us just running up. We are the Crack Legion Suicide Squad! We sure showed them.
So as the rest of you make your way back up into the control center, where Alston is sort of like looking at the control panel and just cheering, and is like sort of caught between this mixture of absolute exultation and desperately trying to write notes down to record what's just happened.
Cool.
Michael, you see a warning flashing up across your vision as you're still tied into Wavebreaker. And it just says, status injured, warning, incompatible power source.
Can you very quickly power down?
Guys, there's a thingy on the
Run away.
There's a
So
thingy.
You can go.
Blinking.
So as far as sort of interaction goes, you can speak from the command chair. You can speak and hear what's going on inside the control room, and the rest of you can. The rest of you can interact with it. It is essentially your motor functions and vision that is currently tied to the Colossus.
Guys, it's saying I'm incompatible, but I thought we were getting along.
Oh, Alston pipes up with, I was worried this might happen.
What's happening?
Well, originally I only intended to use the Infernal Core just to jumpstart Wavebreaker, but a Colossus of this size was usually powered on a more stable arcane source. This is an infernal or an elemental source, and it was never designed to run something this big. Certainly not for this long. Michael, you see the message continues across your vision. It says severe corruption to primary systems and structure. Immediate shutdown for repairs recommended. Primary docent to be rehoused for safekeeping. Please present compatible vessel.
Guys, it's still talking about compatibility. I thought I had the personality, but guys, it's saying a lot. It's saying a lot at me, and I don't know.
So Alston's,
what did it say?
Alston's like furiously working away on this console, and you can see the rest of you can see that there is a sort of like a crystal screen that shows a sort of partially transparent view of what the Colossus field of vision looks like. And again, you can see the sort of the view of the bay beyond Thurimbar with this message superimposed over it. And again, it says, incompatible power source has caused severe corruption to primary systems and structure. Immediate shutdown for repairs recommended. Primary docent
says we should shut down.
Oh, the core!
Primary docent to be rehoused for safekeeping. There is a copy of the message in Game Room 1.
Yeah, cool.
I pull the power core.
Where is this? Oh, okay.
Game Room
Never
1.
mind. Yeah. I was expecting like a not that I'm being greedy, but I was expecting like a little scroll, like, but text. Anyway.
Wait, What's a docent, guys? Guys?
Kallus,
I
can
just
you
pulled
make
the power
me?
cord.
Can you make me a history or arcana check? Your choice.
Okay. Try this one. That is 19.
Okay. The word docent does stick out for you. You know that within the larger Warforged constructs, within the Warforged Colossus and within the Warforged Titans, the sort of the internal kind of AI, as it were, is housed within a device called a docent, which is a metal sphere about 2 inches across and studded with dragon shards.
Would I have any idea where this is in the
You wouldn't know
Colossus?
exactly where it is, but you recognise the terminology as it's presented there.
Okay.
You realise that what it's basically trying to say is the whole thing has to be shut
Pull
down,
the AI out.
but the sort of
Have you tried
AI
turning
has
it
to be
off and on
rehoused.
again?
Okay. I will head to where I think it will be and explain this to Mike on the way if he's not still
He's
tied
still
into it.
tied into. They're still like
Am I still fused?
you are still
basically?
bound to this chair.
Okay, so I'm starting to panic now. Because I don't know what's going on.
It'll be fine. I'll sort it.
That's what they all say! Help me!
It'll be alright on the night.
So Mick and Daisy, what are you up to while this is going on?
I was going to say, do you want me to come down and help you search? Was what I was going to go with.
Kallus?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and try and search for this thing as best I can and to try and remove it.
Okay, that's fine. So if the both of you can make me, I'd say Kallus Arcana check, Daisy investigation check.
Okay.
Whilst that's going on, Mick, what are you up to?
I'm gonna go in the control room and ask that other dude, like, what I should do.
So Alston at this point is still sort of furiously working his way through the controls to try and find some solution to it. He says, "Well, the system's basically starting to burn itself out. I mean, even if we disconnected the power core, the docent would still need to be rehoused in another vessel of some sort. It would need to be removed and reinstalled elsewhere. I'll be honest, this is beyond what my research had even prepared me for, even a little bit. The first thing I could we need to shut everything down. We need to shut everything down and start the repair process. I need you to go and disconnect the power core."
We'll head towards the power core then.
Yes, ditto.
Okay, so Kallus, what did you get on your Arcana check?
Natural 20 for a total of
Fantastic.
27.
And Daisy, what did you get on your investigation check?
19.
Okay.
Mm.
Between the two of you, you
Best-
found nothing in the sort of lower sections of the Colossus. Just for reference, this thing is enormous. It is several, like just from like the hips to the top of the chest cavity is several stories.
Nice.
So you've searched around, and coming back up to the control room, Kallus, you've spotted that directly above the control chair is this sort of crystal casing with this small sphere studded with dragon shards just slowly rotating on all three axes. It's just orbiting in the sort of like stationary orbit just directly above, and you immediately recognize it from your research notes. That is what every description of a docent you've ever encountered pertains to.
Can I try to gently remove it? Or is the power still on?
The power is still on,
First,
yes. Yeah.
before. Okay, in that case, I'm going to wait until the power goes off, then try to remove it.
Okay. Mick, you've made your way down to the power core. Can you make me a Dex sleight of hand check, please, to disconnect the power core?
Yes. I find my stats. There it is. That is a 17. He likes that number.
Fantastic. So yeah, you managed to successfully disconnect it, and remembering Kallus having burned his fingers trying to take it out of the smash and grab earlier, you just grab a sort of spare piece of like tarp that's knocking around on the floor and just sort of wrap it around the core and grab it. And you can feel the warmth through it, and you reckon if you had put your hand straight onto it, you probably would have burnt yourself, but it's enough for you to safely remove it and take it back up. As soon as he does this, Mike, your vision goes black, and you feel this sudden sense of paralysis, but the message is still blinking up in your field of vision.
Guys, this isn't funny. I'm stuck. Get me out of here.
Can I hear him?
Yes, yeah. So you can, like I say, it's just.
He can broadcast, can't he?
Yeah, it's just Mike Yours vision and motor functions that are bound to, well, like gross motor functions that are bound to the Colossus. Their speech and hearing is still theirs within the control chamber.
Okay, right. The power's off now, right?
Power core has been removed. Yes, the
Yeah,
Colossus
so it's
is
just
now immobile. You hear this sort of like drop. Yeah, that's a doo as the sort of the various weapons power down as you make your way back up to the control chamber.
Can I try to gently remove the thingy? I've forgotten the name of it already.
The docent.
It's in the chat. Docent.
You know that the casing around it was designed to be completely tamper-proof. The only way to access it is through the Colossus's systems.
Okay.
Mike, the message is now changed. It just says, it's just the last two sentences. It just says, primary docent must be rehoused for safekeeping. Please present compatible vessel.
Guys, it keeps talking about this docent. If you don't deal with it, I swear, once I'm out of this thing, I'm going to be real upset.
I'm going to be super salty.
I head up to the control thing and try and work out the system to remove it with whomever's there.
As you do, you see that Alston's face has fallen slightly.
Like he's had a stroke, or
No, like they've got some bad news.
This doesn't look good. What is it?
So, good news, bad news situation. Good news, the power core is no longer going critical. Bad news, the only way that we can remove the docent is in a compatible vessel. As in another construct. As in another Warforged construct.
What? I can hear that!
Yeah.
What are you going to put in my brain?
Not in your brain.
And this will do what?
Oh, it's not detrimental. It is... The docent itself needs to be in a compatible Warforged shell. And with the absence of another Colossus for us to transfer it to, the only option, I'm afraid, is your friend here, currently locked into the pilot's chair. It's not going to hurt them. It just means they'll kind of be sharing their body with a war construct consciousness.
What?
Seems
start-
kind of useful.
I start squirming and struggling.
You cannot move.
I know,
You-
but I start squirming and struggling. I'm not moving, but Oh, yeah.
You're putting the commands
Oh, yeah.
through, but there is no
yeah,
movement.
that's more accurate. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Get me out of here! Don't you put that thing in my head! Don't you dare!
Look, it's,
Don't you fucking dare!
Okay. Hypothetically, then, if we don't take this out, what happens to it?
unless we can find another compatible vessel to transfer the docent to, then I'm afraid your friend is probably going to remain in that chair.
What? Put that thing in my head! Put that thing in my head right now! I can't stand being here! Get me out of this
As
thing!
soon as you say, put that thing in my head, the message on your vision changes. And it just says, terms of
no.
use. We, the undersigned, herein referred to as the vessel, do agree to
Yes!
accept responsibility
Yes!
for the
Yes!
guardianship
Just
of
get
the
me out of this
Wavebreaker
thing!
Colossus
Just-
EX07
Yes!
primary docent, herein
Yes!
referred to as
Just
the
put
docent,
it in!
ensuring
I've
its
read it!
safety until such time
Yes!
as Colossus EX07, herein referred to as
Just
the
get me
Colossus,
out!
has effected sufficient system repairs to restore full system functionality and structural integrity. And
Yes!
despite your consistent complaining and screaming, there is just pages and pages that your vision is just rapidly moving past, until it gets to the bottom. It says,
D&D
"Do you
terms
agree
and
to-
conditions.
Do you agree to these terms?
Why won't it read?
Just get me out! Yes! I agree!
Your vision returns and you can see the inside of the control room. The message disappears. And the rest of you watch as the docent sort of moves from the crystal chamber up into the metalwork above. Micah, you have a brief moment of movement before your head is suddenly held and clamped in place as these straps
That wasn't so bad!
whip round your forehead and jaw, muffling your voice and holding your head in place. A metal arm lowers from the ceiling with 4 prongs on it. It approaches, it hovers over your eye socket.
Oh.
You then see, as is your favourite, a small drill emerges from the centre of the prongs. It starts creeping.
Are we doing fucking Dead Space in this now?
The rest of you just watch in horror as this
I was
thing
going to say, abject
claws
amusement,
out
horror.
Mycur's eye. The claw then retreats back into the ceiling and comes down with the docent and just pushes it forward into Mycur's eye socket. The claw then retracts back up into the ceiling. The head straps retract. And Mycur, you suddenly have the sensation of
harrowing.
movement back in your arms.
Slowly pull myself out of the chair. And I just keel over.
Before you completely black out, you just hear a voice in your head going, well, this should be interesting. And that's where we're going to leave it tonight.
Oh.
Oh, of course we are.
I like
Great.
it. It's going
Am I
good.
now playing 2 characters?
I'll explain off stream exactly what the ramifications
Okay.
are of this now.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
You're a
that was-
Colossus now.
So that was the story of how you guys beat the hell out of a giant turtle with a robot, and Mycur got said robot installed into its head.
How I gained schizophrenia.
And
Dagger
with,
juggled a power core. I'm still stood here, guys.
with that, we come to the end of tonight's adventure. My thanks once again to our players and to everyone watching along live on Twitch or catching up on the VOD. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time on Sunday, 23rd of May, to do this all over again. Until then,
Wait.
stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Good
Good
night,
evening,
Roll.
Dice
Bye.
Roll fans. This was brought to you by the Bountiful Vine.